Okay, good morning, guys. Believe it or not, I've already tried to do this once and I didn't have my microphone turned on. So hopefully this one will be even better and be even more helpful for you. So with me not being here today, I've set up a video for you guys to follow along. You should have been given this sheet by the teacher that's in the class with you right now. And you will have a worksheet to follow, another lesson, and another worksheet. Okay, so you have plenty to do, and I hope this works well for you, so you can pause the video if you need to and go back and check any of the work that I've done, or even pause it just to make sure that you have the examples copied down the way I have them copied down. Okay, so starting off with this one, lesson 5, is it a right triangle or not? So we just basically have to remember what our Pythagorean theorem says. Okay, and our Pythagorean theorem says that if you square the two shorter sides of a right triangle, add them together, then they should equal the same amount as squaring the longest side. Okay, and we call that longest side the hypotenuse. So our formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So in words, what does this say about right triangles? It says that if there's a right triangle, or if we're working with a right triangle, then if you take the two shorter sides, or the amounts that you're given for those two shorter sides and square them, they should equal the amount of the largest side squared. Okay, so in our right triangle, we have our A and our B. Okay, what it's saying is that we need to prove this left side, A squared and B squared, is equal to the right side of the equation, which is just c squared. If left side equals right side, then we have a right triangle. So that's what we're just going to put down here. If you were given all three sides of a right triangle, how could you determine if it was a right triangle or not? Okay. So what we're going to do is set up a proof like we did before. Left side equals a squared plus b squared, and our right side is equal to c squared. And basically, as we get down to evaluating the numbers we're given and get our answer, okay, if left side equals right side, then A, B, and C form a right triangle. Okay, so let's test this out. So we'll start with our first example down here. The sides of a triangle have length 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and 5 centimeters. Is this a right triangle? Okay, so the very first step that I want you guys to do is I want you to draw out, assuming that it's a right triangle. Okay, so we're just going to draw out a triangle here, and we're going to take our pen and label it. We have to ask ourselves which side is actually which. We have 3, 4, and 5. We have a right angle here, but where do those numbers actually go? What we talked about already is that this side that's directly across from the 90 degrees, okay, is the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always the longest side. Okay, so we can even put a little note there. Hypotenuse is always the longest side. Okay, so out of these three numbers here, okay, the longest side is actually 5 centimeters. Now, call this our C, and we have A, and we have B. Again, it doesn't matter which side you label A or B as, because they're both going to belong on the left side of the equation, and you're going to add them together anyways, so it doesn't matter what order that they go in. So for today, we'll call this side 3 centimeters, just because it looks a little bit shorter than the other one, and we'll call this one 4 centimeters as A. Okay, so now we're going to set up our proof. We have left side equals A squared plus B squared, and we have right side equals c squared. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our values that we've labeled our triangle with, our a as 4, our b as 3, and on this side we have our c, as 5. Okay, so now we're going to evaluate. So we have 16 plus 9 equals 25. And if we evaluate 5 squared, we also get 25. So what we notice here is that left side equals right side. So what we're going to do now is we're going to finish with a concluding statement. Therefore, since left side equals right side, 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and 5 centimeters create a right triangle. Okay, so all the steps that we've had here. 1, draw out a triangle and find out which side is which and how we're going to label it. Okay, the longest side is always C. The longest side, or C, will always label with the largest number. Okay, our second thing, set up our proof, left side and right side. Okay, eventually evaluate and then decide, does the left side equal the right side? To finish off, give me a concluding statement. Therefore, since left side equals right side, 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and 5 centimeters create a right triangle. Okay, let's try one more example. We're going to scroll down a little bit. Okay. So first things first, we're going to insert, or we're going to draw out a triangle. Assume it's a right angle triangle. Okay. And we'll get our pen out. Assuming that this is the 90 degrees here. Okay. Directly across should be your longest side. And our longest side is 14 centimeters. Okay. Again, doesn't really matter which side is A and which side is B. Up here we used A on the left and B on the bottom. So let's, on this one, use A on the bottom and B on the side. Okay, we'll call B 8 because it's the shorter of the two, and this is the smaller of the two numbers. We'll call this side 11 centimeters. Okay, next step, set up your proof. Left side equals A squared plus B squared, and right side equals C squared. Fill in your values. Your A is 11, your B is 8, both squared, and your C is 14. Okay, evaluate those. 11 squared is 121, 8 squared is 64, and together they make 185. On this side, if you need to use a calculator, go ahead. 14 squared should end up being 196. You look at both of these, and left side does not equal right side. And if you've never seen this symbol before here, you can put it in brackets, means does not equal. Okay, so it does not equal. We're going to finish off with a concluding statement. Therefore, left side does not equal right side. So 8 centimeters, 11 centimeters, and 14 centimeters do not form a right triangle. Okay, so that's how you complete each one of those. So an example of when it equals and when it doesn't equal. And just to finish off, just a final statement. Have our highlighter out. Okay, if we need to find out if a triangle has a right angle or not, and we're giving the lengths of 3 sides, then it should prove that if we square the 2 shorter sides, our answer should equal the square of the longer sides. If it doesn't, then it's not a right triangle. Okay, so that's the end of that lesson. Your teacher has a sheet for you to complete, and when you're done that one, you can move on to the next one, lesson 6. We're going to look at some word problems. Okay, good luck, guys. If you have any questions, send me an email. I hope this goes well for you, and I'll see you when I get back.